Hello and welcome to the Foxcatcher AFL show. My name's Julian Valens, joined as always by Bernie Vince. Bernie, well, we're 22 rounds down and we're seeing this ladder evolve, but there's still plenty of twists and turns. But what I want to look at is top 9 against the top 9, the acid test, the best against the best. And I think this shows some really interesting points because I think this would be a surprise. Look at the team at the top, 6-2, the Dockers.
Very good stat, this. You want to be top of this one because come September, these are the teams you got to play. So, look, that actually surprised me a bit. I know Fremantle have been in very good form, but 6-2, as you can see at top there, and some concerning teams down the bottom end of that. You know, the Western Bulldogs 2-8. And those two, they've beaten the Giants both times. So you think they're going pretty well, but if they make it, concerns because they've got to play the top 9. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think the key is there, because they're so even across the board and you see Freo, well, they're going to have to do it away to win, you know, the flag, whatever it might be, that I think you have to finish top 4. Those numbers are showing that it's just so even across the board. How do you win 4 games in a row from 5th to 8th? It just makes it too hard. And as we get to the premiership market at PointsBet, you can see that this is factored into the idea that the Cats and the Crows have tightened up probably in the last week in particular, because they're probably going to finish 1-2. And in particular for the Crows, they're going to get those 2 home grand finals, the first one and then possibly the prelim. They're not going to start bigger than $1.60, $1.65 in those games, hence why they're the short price favourite for the premiership now, Bern.
Yep, we've been saying for a long time, if Adelaide are going to have a crack at this premiership, they need to finish in the top 2. So important to get those 2 home finals. If they win their first final and then obviously a home prelim, then they've got to win on ground. This is a premiership market. $3.50 seems a touch short considering they've got to play at the MCG Grand Final day. And we know what happened last time. I know it's a long time ago, but if they come up against a Geelong or a Victorian club or even Brisbane, who played very well at the MCG, I reckon $3.50 might be a little bit short, but I understand why it's there.
Yeah, and they come against the Suns, they'll start $1.40 but get knocked off. So there you go. All right, let's get to the top 4 as well, because this is interesting as well. So much to evolve here as well, Bernie, but here's the market you suggest to make the top 4.
Yep.
You know, you look at that and you go, OK, here are the permutations. This team loses. You get into the AFL predictor. There's just so many different ideas, but that's the market right in front of us for the top 4. But how about to finish 4th? I love this market with PointsBet. So the flurry for 4th. This is the one bang on the dot that finishes 4th. If you were to pick the eyes out of it, who do you think's going to finish 4th here?
Well, I've done my ladder predictor, which has got I've got Brisbane to beat Fremantle this week. That is the game that is so important to this top 8 and top 4. But if they win that, then beat Hawthorn, I've got Brisbane finishing 4th, Gold Coast 3rd, and that means Collingwood drop out of that top 4, which they've been in the whole year. So there's so many different predictions you can do, and one result changes about 3 or 4 positions on the ladder.
Yeah, I think the market's about right there. That $2.75 Collingwood seems about right for me. They get one of those wins and they'll probably finish 4th. What about the team that misses? We've spoke about the top 9. 9 don't fit into 8 here, Bernie.
No.
What are we doing? Best of the rest. They've put this up on PointsBet for a long time. It's had plenty of coverage, plenty of action. Who's going to finish 9th? Who's going to miss the 8 here? Who do you think?
Well, you've asked the question. I'm going to say the Giants. They're very stiff to miss, one of the stiffest years to miss, but I think they lose to the Gold Coast Suns, and it doesn't really matter if they win the next week because the Dogs will jump them, and I think they're the unlucky team.
Yeah, I think you're right. From a market perspective, I'm with the Giants to miss as well. Let's get to Built Different Player of the Week, and we're going to go to this guy because I just like talking about him because it's actually a really interesting point, especially when they're playing Essendon, North Melbourne and the Tigers. Look, the numbers are really short here, the prices. Look at that one down the bottom. This is the one that I'm really interested in. 100 plus goals, including finals, at $3 if he can get there. So that's going to be the interesting one. Do you think he gets there?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes, just purely because I want to see someone kick 100 goals.
How many?
4 goals.
What about this market?
I reckon the market's right. I reckon it's 100. I reckon he gets 100 right on the dot. Minimum 4 games, possibly 6, probably 5 if you were picking it. And I think he finishes right on 100.
Right on 100? All right, how about this for romanticism then? I'm a fairy talist. What about this?
Oh, no.
30 seconds to go in the grand final. He's on 99. He gets the ball in the goal square. He goes back, takes his 30. The siren sounds. They're a point down. He puts them 5 in front. Bang on 100. You take the $6. That's what's happening. Have a sharp bet. That's what we'll be doing. We'll see you soon.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.